I'm inside the Ruth Gunn Gymnasium, where the Maple Leafs snapped a 54-game losing streak in conference and a 19-game losing streak to Marian. This match was one that fans, coaches, students, and most importantly, Goshen athletics will remember.
I looked down there and I was surprised to kind of see what I saw, guys getting close to guys starting to push, whatever. So my first reaction was to go and try to break this up.
The craziness started when now former head coach of the Knights, Pat Knight, would get not only one technical,
Knight is on the floor, screaming,
but a second.
Elijah Diallo, he picks up his second foul of the contest. And just like that,
It would lead to Pat Knight being ejected with just over 55 seconds left in the first half. I was able to get a one-on-one with the commissioner of the Crossroads League, Larry DeSimpler, to talk about this ejection.
I believe Pat Knight wanted to be ejected. He didn't agree with the calls. When you go, as a college basketball coach, when you go that far out onto the floor, you know what you're doing, and it might be a strategy for your end to try to motivate your players.
I spoke with Chad Coleman, the Associate Athletic Director, on what are the procedures when a coach gets ejected.
Retreat to whatever room we designated for their team. So in this case, it might have been room 102 or room 104 or the men's locker room.
While Coach Knight was walking out, Coleman would have to hold a student back.
Something was said to the wife, not terrible, but just enough to get his attention, and that's when he stopped and kind of gave us both really look. And at that point I was like, just go on, we got this. And we asked the student involved to leave the gym at that point, just to not complicate anything in the second half.
The second half was all basketball, with the Maple Leafs winning after two halves, but the handshakes weren't all that peaceful.
And I turned around and I was just like, oh my gosh, what is going on? There was a lot of shoving, a lot of grabbing. It all happened real quick. We know how it's basketball. Basketball is contact, trash talk during the game. That's how basketball is. Usually, I will say, if you're a basketball player, you have to know that what happened in the court stays on the court.
Commissioner DeSimpler says this was a rough day for the Crossroads League.
So when you have action and interaction between two teams that does not represent the league or the institutions that are within our league, which again are all faith-based, then yeah, that's not the look we want. We want to uphold the banner of faithfulness along with sportsmanship.
The players weren't the only ones who took a toll as the scorer's table was being screamed at by now interim head coach Todd Howard. Kate Boddicker, the PA announcer, tells her story.
Came over and right in front of me was slamming his hands down in front of me and going, "Who the is in charge here? Who the is in charge here? Who the is in charge? What are you doing?" Screaming right at me. And so it was very just a very uncomfortable experience. I just was really overwhelmed and didn't know what to do. And then he kind of walked away for a second and then came back and was pointing at me, very much walking right at me, clearly pointing at me and going, "Get the on the mic, get the on the mic, what are you doing, say something." And I was just I didn't know what to do. And Tony, who was keeping stats, had told me when the fight first broke out, because I was sort of should I need to do something? And he was like, "No, you saying anything on the mic isn't gonna make a difference."
Coleman says this was a learning experience for GC Athletics.
I'm sure we'll all remember because of what happened. We'll probably never forget that, just because it was a unique situation for us. But I would say the very next game, we were hey, we need to do better. We need to make sure that we're prepared that this happens. And because it hadn't happened before, we hadn't simulated it. So in a way, it was good because it gives us a nice test and things to do. We can do better for the next time.
Just a few days later, Pat Knight would resign as head coach of the Marian Knights after refusing to comply with administrators' demands to fire someone on his staff. I did reach out to Pat Knight and Marian Athletics, but received no response back. Reporting for Globe Sports, I'm Eduardo Alvarez-Barrera. Bank.